In this video, I'm going to reveal the secret that makes Pete Davidson irresistible to the most famous and most beautiful women in the world. And I'm going to show how that same secret is being used by tech companies to quietly and effectively control our whole damn lives. Buckle up, people. We are about to get way too deep into Pete Davidson, and then we're going to make a sandwich about it. Let's get this over with.
I was a loser in high school. I got home from school and my mom was like, "Hey, I left a little present for you on your bed." It's a 50-pack of condoms. And I just wanted to be like, "Ma, who the f*** do you think your son is?" Like, I never even brought a friend home. Like, what made you think I was out there, like, slinging? I hang out with you every night. Do you want to?
So I always thought that Pete Davidson was a serviceable comedian. I mean, it's not great. It's not terrible. But then, on May 10th, 2018, all heck broke loose. That was the day I became very interested in Pete Davidson because social media forced me to become interested in Pete Davidson. Somehow social media pointed him the modern day personification of male heterosexual prowess. And I thought I should investigate what's going on here. Because I, like many of us, couldn't really understand how this guy was stumbling his way up the hot female celebrity dating ladder. This goofy looking guy hit on something, and we need to study it and understand it, and make a sandwich about it. So to truly understand the level of this man's fame before and after May 2018, I enlisted the most powerful data crunching machine available, Google Trends. So prior to May 10th, 2018, you can see here, he's minding his business, got a little bit of fame going, you know, on the East Coast comedy scene. Then you see this little spike here. Isn't that adorable? That's when he got SNL, when he was 20. Nice peak, bro. Now you're on the biggest comedy stage in the world every single week. Let's see what you can do. Huh. All right. Kind of came back down to earth, didn't you? So he's up and functioning on the biggest comedy stage in the world, which is known to create stars out of nowhere, and he's not really breaking out. And all of a sudden, pow! Look at that spike! So what do you think that spike was? Did he have a viral sketch like The Lonely Island? No. Did he have a hit movie? No. It turns out this wide-eyed young comedian stumbles straight into one of the most powerful forces known to humankind. He stepped right into a little something called the theory of mimetic desire. So what is the theory of mimetic desire? Oh, nothing. It's just a secret force that controls all our damn lives. That's all. It gets a little bit heady, so I brought in George Costanza to give you a little introduction to it.
I told her this was my fiancé.
What?
Don't you see? Women like that are like members of a secret tribe living in a forbidden city. People like me have not been inside in thousands of years. But with this, it's like I've already been with one of her own. My hand's been stamped. I come and go as I please.
Well, there you go. So to elaborate on what they said, mimetic desire is a theory authored by the French scholar René something. In his book, Deceit, Desire, and the Novel, René breaks down how as children we learn by mimicking other people. And then as we grow up, we continue to actually do that, but we don't just mimic what their actions are, we start to mimic what they desire. And so then their desires become our desires, and we don't even realize we're doing it. It's just a completely subconscious thing. And you can see examples of it all over the place. I mean, it's the reason sneakerheads wear these ridiculous shoes, because their king, Michael Jordan, wore those ridiculous shoes. It's also why these Mexican guys wear these ridiculous shoes. That's real. Google that. Mexican pointy shoes. And also why crypto schmucks pay $2 million for this Bored Ape. It's also why mods from the 60s put all kinds of mirrors on their Vespas, and why upper class people from the Renaissance period wore these hilarious powdered wigs. All because of mimetic desire. And according to the theory, our desires are not ours at all. We're just acting on the influence of our peer group. Everything, all of it, all the things that we think we want, they're all just illusions of group hypnosis. And because we're actually primates and we organize ourselves in a hierarchy, we tend to adopt the desires of those higher than us in the hierarchy. And that's the theory. And it turns out that René something taught this theory to a very smart and ruthless student at Stanford by the name of Peter Thiel, aka the very first investor of a little startup called Facebook. And these two broken sociopaths used the theory of mimetic desire to change the fabric of our society forever. Now, there had been social media sites already, which seemed unstoppable at the time. Shout out to MySpace and Friendster. But Peter Thiel saw something in the Facebook API. It was one tiny little button among the many buttons in the API. This tiny little button harnessed the power of mimetic desire unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. That button was the like button. So the like button created a social scoreboard for literally every social interaction on the internet. You could see exactly how successful something was by the number of likes it got. That had never been done before. So we can see who is getting attention and who is getting higher up in the hierarchy, who has more followers, who has more views. And unsurprisingly, the people with the most of all those things are called influencers because they literally influence us with mimetic desire. They harness that. I mean, it really worked. Like, look at where we're at. But the thing is, when something gets a lot of likes, quickly it creates a momentum of likes and more people start liking it. And so it turns into this snowball effect, and that's how things go viral. It can create stars out of nowhere. It can build billion-dollar brands in record time, and even get a washed-up reality TV star into the office of the presidency of the United freaking States of America. That's how powerful this thing is. When one famous woman dates a dude who looks like this, it sends a signal to the other beautiful women in the beautiful women community that this is a guy who is worthy of high-level female desire. This princess, Ariana Grande, kissed this frog, and now everyone thinks this frog is actually a prince. And then he dates another beautiful woman, and other beautiful women notice that, and then another one.
Another one.
And it creates this virality, this snowball effect of mass hypnosis with all of these beautiful women buying in. And Pete, being the working class hero that he is, that we all deserve, uses this momentum to climb straight to the top of the hot celebrity ladder in record time. Shout out to you, Pete Davidson. You are a beacon of hope in these very dark times. This is also the premise of the seminal 80s movie Can't Buy Me Love.
You pretend you like me, and we go out for just a few weeks, and that will make me popular.
But Pete Davidson is now a meme within the hot celebrity ladies community. It's funny because his rise is actually kind of correlated to Bitcoin and crypto, because crypto is just literally a line of code with absolutely no value whatsoever. It only becomes valuable when someone believes it's valuable, and look what happens. So many people believe that these lines of code have value that now Bitcoin is trading at like $40,000 or something. I don't even know right now what it is actually. I think it went down. But the point is, the same thing that happened with Bitcoin happened with Pete Davidson. Enough people believed that he was attractive that he became attractive. Beautiful women love Pete Davidson for the same reason that crypto bros love crypto. It's an illusion of our modern social media landscape. Here's Peter Thiel actually explaining how it applies to business and life in general.
But I think it's more than just an intellectual blind spot. I think it's also a psychological blind spot. We find it reassuring if other people do things. The word ape already in the time of Shakespeare meant both primate and imitate. And there is something about human nature that's deeply mimetic, imitative, ape-like, sheep-like, lemming-like, herd-like. And it's this very, very problematic.
The only question left is, what is the Pete Davidson sandwich? So I'm not pleased, but rather obligated to announce that the Pete Davidson sandwich is actually two completely different sandwiches. The first sandwich is going to be sweetened ground nut butter, topped with fresh spring preserves, on traditional pan de mie. The second sandwich, pb&j. Let's make them both and explain this mess. So as I make these sandwiches, one sandwich will represent Pete Davidson before May 10th, 2018, and the other sandwich will represent him after that date, aka the day Pete Davidson got kissed by a princess and became a working class hero forever. So the sandwich that represents Pete Davidson after he started dating Ariana Grande is going to be on the left side here, and for that I'm using this traditional pan de mie bread. For the sandwich that represents Pete Davidson before he started dating Ariana Grande, we're using Wonder Bread. So for this sandwich, we're using sweetened ground nut butter with soybean oil. The nut butter and soybean oil combination just spreads on absolutely beautifully. Now for this sandwich, we're going to use peanut butter. This is far less sophisticated than the nut butter spread, but it gets the job done, so. Now for the fresh spring preserves on this sandwich. Delicate, complex, that's really nice. For this sandwich, we're using jam. Yeah, I mean, it's jam. It is what it is. Now already you can see how the sandwich on my left is far superior to the sandwich on my right. Already you can see just by the spread, without even tasting it. Okay, I'm just gonna put the tops on, pan de mie, Wonder Bread. Now for the nut butter and fresh preserve sandwich, we're gonna cut it right down the middle, symmetrically. It's classier that way. And then for the PB&J, we're gonna cut it diagonally like a Philistine. Now the presentation. So for this sandwich, we're gonna use a silver platter and some bone china. Like that. Real bougie. Now we're gonna pair this with a chilled bovine cocktail and a crystal goblet. And there it is. This is the Pete Davidson sandwich after he starts dating Ariana Grande. Now the Pete Davidson sandwich before he starts dating Ariana Grande, we're gonna use a sandwich bag. No need for a plate. And so for the PB&J, we're just gonna pair it with some milk. So there you go. The two lives of Pete Davidson. The life before Ariana Grande and the life after Ariana Grande. Beautifully illustrated via the medium of sandwiches. All right, so I'm gonna try these both and let you know how they taste. I'm going to the bovine cocktail. Tremendous, tremendous sandwich. Sweetened nut butter spread and fresh preserve. Also my compliments to the cow who made this. Amazing sandwich. Now for the PB&J. See, I'm already annoyed by having to dig into a bag for this thing. All right, let's give it a try. Try milk. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's a PB&J, gets the job done, but it's no comparison to this. This is so much better, so many levels better than this. I can't even explain it. You have to try it yourself, honestly. Give it a taste test, and you will see that this by far tastes so much better. This has been a lesson in mimetic theory of desire of Pete Davidson and two sandwiches. This has been Cinnamon and Sandwiches. See ya.